Oh, that's it.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Instacar HK. Today I'm still in Singapore and I've met with another Instagram friend of mine which I talked with for a while from Singapore, and this morning he said he'll bring me to take a look at this collection but didn't have much details about it. So I got on his car in the morning and was taken to this industrial estate, going into this dark industrial building, and for a moment I was convinced I was being shipped to Cambodia for hard labor. But fortunately, when we got here, things are looking pretty good, including the entrance here, which I'll show you. We already have a very early 911, a classic Beetle, 996, and then a SLR107, a Datsun, very nice Datsun Fair Lady. But when we go in, this is where the magic begins. Oh, look at that. So I'm going to do a little tour first, and as you can see, the theme is quite obvious. German, Japanese, and then Italian. So right off the bat, there's a 911E, early 911, and then two SCs, a hard top, and then a Targa, and that's actually another SC, the one in the yellow at the back with a whale tail. Here, there is a Honda S800 Coupe, and then something more modern, the 997 GT3 RS, the SC I talked about just now. And then here we would have three Alpha GTV 6s, together with a Lancia Integrale at the top, and then another few older 911s, Mercedes. And then for the JDM bunch, there's a GTR 34, and on top, can anyone guess what the car on top is covered? I'll give you 3 seconds. It's actually an NSX. So it's a pretty cool collection. This is actually the warehouse of car business called Auto Icons. So this is part of their storage warehouse, of cars that they trade. Of course, this is not the whole thing. They have, other places where they store their cars, and even abroad. But, pretty cool setup they have here.
Yeah, welcome guys. Welcome to Auto Icons. What we have here is a storage facility and also acts as a showroom for some of the cars that have come into, that we've imported. What you see here is, I think, pretty unique, because typically you don't see something that's stacked up this way in Singapore. But because of our land cost and all, this is the best solution. Our cars come from all over, really, all over the world. Namely, you see here right-hand drive cars. We've got some cars also parked overseas. Left-hand drive ones also as part of our collection and our customers' collections. And because Auto Icons is about selling, so we source cars for clients. We source some of the best cars out there, and we offer them on our platform. So the cars will be from, say you get cars from Germany, you want to ship over to Australia, we can ship it across borders. So that's what we do. Okay, you guys want to come over for a little bit? I'll show you. Where should we start? Okay, that Lancia right top left down there. That's the Lancia, 1989 Lancia Delta Integrale 16 valve. That's quite a unique car. So as you all know, it's a very iconic car. It's a car that won the most number of races, WRC races back then. I think it still holds the record of more than any of the WRXs and Evos, Over to the right is a 1989 911 3.2 Carrera. That's got a G50 gearbox in it. So the car's, it's a really nice, clean example of how the cars were maintained, all these years. That's an R34 GTR. That car is here also for storage. I don't think you'll ever see our roads here because it'll be another 8-9 years before it can hit the road. But it's one of those cars that's up for sale. So yeah, very very original condition also. We've got the white and the red. I think these will speak to the Alpha owners. These cars are a little bit special. They're both 1985 Alfettas, 3-liter specials, right? These are the 3-liter homologation cars. Only 207 were ever made. I believe the last count was like 70 something that are left in this world. We are very fortunate to have come across these two, and actually two more. We've got 4 of these, but we sold the other 2 already at auctions overseas. These 2 cars were completely built ground up, from nut and bolt. There's a nut and bolt restoration. Engines were done by a guy called Dawie de Villiers, and he's like the go-to person in South Africa for Auto Delta, Alfa Romeo stuff. We got him to complete a couple of cars, including the one below, which is our next topic. It's a 2.5 GTV. It's engine, gearbox, everything done by Dawie de Villiers also. To the right of the red car, you see the 2 Mercedes. These are a little bit special in that you look at it, they're ordinary cars, they're 280 CEs, right? The one in the middle is a 114 1978. The one on the right is a 1985. So they look like the run-of-the-mill Mercedes, no big deal and all, right? But these 2 cars came from a collector. Now this collector had commissioned these 2 cars to be built by a very famous restorer called Kindler. Kindler is in Germany. As we come closer to the cars, you can see some of the details on them, right? Kindler is more than your Mercedes specialist now. He's the company that Mercedes-Benz Classics uses to restore their cars. He's at that level. And so these 2 cars are special because he doesn't do these kind of cars. Because he's a cheaper, low-end kind of cars. They do mainly 600 Pullmans and 300 SL Gullwings, right? So these 2 cars are a bit ordinary, but because of that relationship, they took on the cars. These 2 cars were restored each in excess of 200,000 euros. So if you look at them, they're brand new. We've driven it around, right? It's like driving a brand new car. This one here, it was one of our earlier imports. It came in a couple of years ago. It's a 911E 2.2 Sportomatic. So Sportomatic is a Porsche's foray into automatics at first, right? So I think that's quite interesting because they actually, I only found this out recently, like 2 years ago or so, right? They came out with Sportomatic for racing, actually, Yeah, so you think that your manual gearbox is more reliable, right? Porsche actually developed their version of the automatic, Sportomatic, to race. Don't know how successful it was, but now it's a mechanic's nightmare to try to fix that, But to get it right is quite tricky. But we sorted this out. This car was just recently put up for sale because the owner has run out of car park space. Over here we have the little special car from the JDM collection also. This is a 67 S800. So this car is a bit of a, it's one of those Japanese K cars. They kept it all small, within a certain size, and I think Honda broke the rules by making the car a bit too powerful. The car revs red lines at 8,500 RPM, You know, so I like to think of it as the grandfather to the S2000. I invite every one of you to sit in there and feel the shifter. This car has the most precise, the best feeling shifter in the world to me at the moment. Yeah, even more precise than S2000. So it's really, really special. Back then, when I think they were getting into motorcycle racing and all that, so I think it's quite special. So like you look at the engine itself, right? It's got individual throttle bodies, for a car back in those days. I mean, people built them for racing. It's it's ITVs, individual carburetors. This thing's pretty special. Yeah. It's my own personal car. It's a 1986 628 CSI. It's now a manual, which makes it a lot nicer car to drive. It's more a touring kind of car, This car has a little bit of history in that the original owner was is from the Kwok family. So Robert Kwok, the plantations, but it belonged to Kwok Kien Yin, who was the MD of Shangri-La Group. Yeah. So it's got the owner's handbook and the first owner's name. Kwok Chun Yin. Kwok Kun Yin. Zero rust on this car. Wow. Yeah, zero, nothing. Then I said no lah, just sand it down, just give it the base coat and then paint this color. I feel it's more palatable. Over here we have a 1970 911T. A very special car, this one, because it looks very ordinary and all that, right? But it's one of those cars that I never thought I'd be able to find, because it's a one owner first paint kind of car. So whatever scratches you see that this owner has accumulated, right? That's something that he's carried on from day one, So when we spoke to the owner and said, hey, these scratches and all that, he says, I'm not touching that. I don't trust the modern paint. I don't trust all the work people do, So he just kept it. From 1970, all the scratches, right? So we took it out for a drive thinking that it probably has the same kind of aging as the paint and all that. But the car drives amazing. It's so quiet. It goes over the humps, no sound, no nothing, So when we spoke to him, he says mechanically, he had to have everything sorted out. One of the very special cars, yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. That was certainly quite eye-opening for me, seeing a pretty cool collection like that, and in Singapore no less, where owning cars can be very prohibitive. Special thanks to the Serpent's Pit, the local Alfa Romeo club, who were the people who invited me to this pretty fun gathering this morning. Thanks for that. Thanks for the hospitality. If you like this episode, please give us a like, please subscribe. Please remember to click the bell button next to the subscribe button so you know when our video is coming next. Thank you and have a good day.